Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is our day 17 and finally we are back to normal. Yesterday actually my day went very unproductive. I didn't do any stuff yesterday. So I was feeling very underconfident and thus my spirits were also very low. But today it's all back to normal and whatever we have planned to do yesterday, I was able to cover up today. I started with studying about middlewares. Middlewares we can understand like it's a person sitting between the client and the feature he wants to access, and whenever he gives the validation, then only the client will be able to access that feature. It's a high level overview of middlewares. Then we studied about what are middlewares. Middlewares are the functions that have access to the response object, the request object, and the request response cycle. Then we studied about what features can a middleware perform, what functions can a middleware perform. It is used to execute a code, or it is used to access the request object and a response object. It also can be used to end a request response cycle. If certain conditions are not met, then it is the job of middleware to end that cycle there only. And if the certain conditions are met, then the middleware is supposed to either give access to the feature or give access to the next middleware in the stack. So these are the functions of middleware. Then I studied about how to write middleware, the syntax. It's a function that accepts three parameters: the request object, the response object, as well as the next function. The next function, when all the conditions are met, then the next function is played and it is used to forward the feature or the client to our next middleware in the stack. Then we studied about the conditions in which the middleware can end the request response cycle. Then we studied about that it is recommended, that it is a good practice that we should make separate middleware for separate features so that they can be reused later if we want to reuse them, or if we want similar kind of features, then we can reuse them. So that's all for the middlewares. Then we studied about the header section of the Chrome DevTools. The header section generally contains the metadata which is sent between the client and the server. The metadata can be of the form like the content type, the referrer which contains the URL through which the client is coming, or the authorization which contains the authorization data like password, cookies, etc. The header section contains two other sections, two subsections: the response header and the request header. The response header, as the name says, is a response to our requests, to our queries from the client side, and the request header, the request section in the header, is the client sending the request to the header, sending the metadata to the server side. So I studied about it. Then I studied about the query parameters. It's a way to take input in Express. How to take input? There is a simple syntax like const variable name equal to request.query.variable name. Through it we can access the input inside our Express file or inside our HTTP servers. So with it, that's all for the day. Thank you.